What's up, guys? Today we are gonna do a truck talk video. So I thought maybe we could start from the very beginning and we could talk about how I got my start in general contracting. So let's see where to start. I suppose we should go all the way back to the very beginning. So we moved to a little farmette probably when I was like 12, maybe 12 or 13 or something like that. We moved to a little farmette. I credit the farm for most of my early fascination with tearing things apart and then building them differently. When we bought the farm, we remodeled the whole thing, gutted it to the studs inside, and all new, HVAC, plumbing, electrical, insulation, drywall, floors, the whole thing. And I was pretty young, so my parents hired a GC friend of theirs to do most of the project. But then once it was drywall, then we took over and we did all the painting, all of the floors, and the trim. So by that time, I was a little older. I think I was like a freshman. I was probably a freshman in high school when we did that, and I took Woods 1, and I got super excited about woodworking, so we did all the trim in the house. The trim package was pretty craftsman-y. It was like a 6-inch baseboard, I want to say. I'm kind of going off memory here. It may have been, it was probably like a 6-inch baseboard with like a plinth block at the doors, and then like 1x4 casing going up to a nice little header. Super fascinated, so I built all that trim for the house, which was a lot of fun. I did all the windowsills, which was really fun. My mom was actually super involved with all that stuff. It was a lot of her ideas that we brought to life, so that was pretty cool. And then went on to Woods 2, did really well in that in high school, took building construction and advanced building construction, where I learned some more of the rough stuff, and that was that. So then I graduated early. I should say too, with the farm, I was always tinkering in the barn. Like, I was always tearing shit apart and putting it back together, and we built different stalls for animals and chicken coops and all kinds of stuff. So there was lots of building going on all the time. So then post high school, I graduated a semester early. Turns out I'm not as dumb as I look. So I left there early and was really into the animal thing. So I went to University of Wisconsin at River Falls, and I was in the animal science program with the intent on getting into UW-Madison for veterinarian, like to be a veterinarian or whatever. Obviously, for my undergrad would have been at River Falls, and then my graduate would have been through UW-Madison. Got into that. I did a semester up there, had a lot of fun. Probably drank too much beer. I was the youngest guy there, which was pretty crazy because I was like just barely 18 when I went up there. But had a lot of fun, made a lot of lifelong friends that I still talk to this day, so that's cool. Came home for family reasons and decided not to go back in the fall. Stayed home. So I got a full-time job as a groundskeeper at a giant estate on the lake. I spent a couple years there, probably about 2, and maybe not even 2, maybe it was just a season or 2. I don't know. That was a tough one. So basically they did reviews like every 6 months, and at my first review I wanted a raise because I was making $12 an hour. They said no. I waited 6 months to my second review. I said, hey, like, I'm doing a lot of stuff. I'm hands-on with everything at the estate. I know all the inner workings. The guy had 3 ponds on the property, a 20,000 plus square foot house. There was electrical systems, plumbing systems, HVAC systems. I knew my way around all the inner working parts of the estate. I don't know if I would know it now because I'm sure everything's changed, but I knew them then. I was like, I want to do more. I worked on all the mowers and the weed whackers and the trucks, whatever. So kind of a big maintenance guy too. So that was, another chunk. So at my third review, so I'd been there for 18 months. At my third review, I was like, hey, I really want to raise. And they were like, well, we'll reevaluate that. Your next review, the same thing they gave me 2 times, 3 times before, whatever. So I just slid my 2 weeks across the table. I was like, here's my letter of resignation. I got a job offer for $15 an hour. I'm going to take that unless you guys want to match it. They didn't want to match it, so I ended up, resigning from there, and I got a job as an iron worker, and I set commercial steel buildings for a little bit. While doing that, I actually started moonlighting carpentry a little bit, and I was doing some little remodel projects. My mom bought a duplex. We remodeled both sides of that. The owner of the company I was working for, I did a bunch of remodeling on his house, so I got a lot of experience there. And then we did a really big phase of the remodel that kind of involved 2 floors, and things were messed up for a while. And we were getting into the end of it where I started trimming it. I said, hey, I just want to let you know, when we're done with this phase, before we start the next phase, I want to take a couple weeks. I've got a deck to build, some hardwood floors to bang in, whatever. I want to go do those things, and then I want to start the next phase with you. And he was like, oh no, if you're not working on my house, you got to go back to the field. You got to set iron. And I was like, well, I don't really want to do that. I'm kind of oversetting iron. It's just not my thing. I'd much rather do carpentry work. And he's like, well, no, you're either going to start phase 2 right away, or you're going back to the field. And I was like, well, I kind of want to be an independent contractor. I'll honor our deal that we've had since, but I was like, I want to do this full time. This is what I want to do. And he was like, well, if you want to be an independent contractor, then I'm terminating an independent contractor. So he fired me, didn't even let me finish the job. And I was like, whatever. So I packed up my tools. It was a Saturday morning. Packed up my tools in my truck, and I left. The truck from the Carpenter's truck video that I have on here, that's absolutely terrible, with 40 or 50,000 views, that I don't understand how people watch, because I can't even watch it. It's that bad. Cool concepts, but I just didn't know we won't get into that. Anyway, moving forward, collected my tools, made a phone call, and I was like, hey, I had an opening in my schedule. Do you care if I start your deck next week? And the lady was like, no, that's fine. Come on by and get a check. So I stopped by, got my check for 50% down, and I went and built the deck. After that, I had some oddball stuff that kept me pretty busy. It wasn't quite 40 hours a week, but it was busy enough. And then I got in with some guy, a general contractor, and I set all of their kitchens. And pretty big guy in the area. I think the year that I worked for him, I set 54 or 57 kitchens. It was crazy. It was a kitchen a week. And then if they had an apartment building they were going through, I would do 6 kitchens in 2 weeks or something. So just cruising through, kitchens. So I got a lot of install time. I got a lot of crown molding time. I got a lot of, tweaking doors, setting cabinets, all that stuff, which I really credit to why my trim game advanced faster and is better than a lot of the other stuff that I do. But that was a lot of fun. But he wanted me to sign a W-9, which was fine, and show proof of insurance. Well, that's where things got tricky. So I called my insurance agent, and I was like, hey, Kyle, I need business insurance. And he was like, sorry, bro, can't help you. You got to be in business for 2 years, and then I can help you. And I was like, well, what should I do? And he was like, call this guy. So I ended up calling a local guy. He was able to get me a policy, and I've stuck with him. I've actually moved everything over to him now because he's been awesome to work with. So my motorcycle's through him, my truck's through him, the house is through him, business is through him. Everything that I have that's insured is through him. Awesome guy. But yeah, so I swapped that over, got my insurance, and I did 50 some kitchens that year. So that was pretty cool. Then I started kind of realizing I could make more money as a GC. So that's when I really started to focus on my own projects, and I just kind of slowed down on that and that general's projects and started focusing on my own. From that point, I just kind of kept the ball rolling. You know, word of mouth is pretty much all the advertising I've ever done. You know, somebody heard from somebody that I remodeled this or that, and that's how it has built. So, you know, and that kitchen installing, like I was kind of getting to the tail end of that when I started this YouTube channel. So it's been like 3 or 4 years now of pretty much just dedicated time that I've been focusing as a GC. So it's been a lot of fun. I was able to double my sales for like the first 3 years that I was in business. And then I kind of hit a little bit of a plateau. Hoping to break through that plateau this year and get into, you know, another higher bracket of earning. I'm going to try and utilize some subs, maybe hire in a guy or two. I hired a lot of guys that didn't go well. We'll probably do a truck talk on that. But I'm going to try and break through that this year. We've got some really cool projects coming, so I'm going to try and break through and do a little bit better in sales this year. So, but anyway, that's getting into like a whole different rabbit hole. So we'll wrap this one up here. Let me know down in the comments how you guys got your start and, you know, what you guys started doing and where you guys are at now. That progression is like something I'm like really interested in seeing. So, you know, drop that in the comments below, and make sure to like the video and subscribe if you haven't already. And I guess we'll see you guys in the next one.